A man who cannot discipline his habits will be disciplined by the world. That's not just philosophy. That's a warning in a world addicted to comfort, distraction, and validation. You don't rise by talent. You rise by habits. And if you let these 7 habits slide, you deserve the disrespect from others, from life, from yourself, because a man who doesn't respect his time, his energy, his purpose, a man who lacks respect for his time, energy, and purpose invites others to take advantage of him. Today, we establish boundaries. These 7 habits are the difference between weakness and power. You can distinguish between noise and peace, defeat and dignity. If you want to live by the Stoic code in a modern world, the present is your battlefield. Habit 1. You let your mind get hijacked by the average man touches his phone 2,617 times a day. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." However, how can one achieve mastery over oneself when constantly distracted by every notification, vibration, and scroll? Such behavior is not just a harmful habit. It is the erosion of your will. Every swipe is a compromise. Every unnecessary notification is an invasion, and every time you check something quickly, you're allowing your attention to be auctioned off to the highest bidder. Stoicism is built on one truth: your mind is the only thing you own. When you allow distraction to overtake you, you forfeit the one stronghold you should protect. We live in the noisiest age in human history. Infinite feeds, constant alerts, loud opinions, but you cannot hear your own thoughts if you're constantly tuned in to everyone else's noise. Think of your mind like a sacred temple. Would you allow marketers, strangers, and gossipers to storm in uninvited? Yet we do it every day with every mindless click, every endless scroll, every dopamine hit we pretend is harmless. Distraction kills depth. It fractures your ability to do meaningful work, and over time, it destroys your ability to think. It doesn't start with laziness. It starts with noise. Your instincts become muffled by the noise. Your intuition becomes dulled by the noise. Such noise is why the Stoics practiced silence. The Stoics embraced silence for this reason. They sought not only tranquility, but also accuracy. You don't need to react to everything. You don't need to respond immediately. You don't need to know every update. You need to train your mind to focus, because your attention is your most valuable currency. Discipline doesn't begin with what you do. It begins with what you allow. Control your inputs, and your outputs will follow. Reflection moment. If your mind was a kingdom, would you let invaders walk in every 5 minutes without resistance? Habit 2. You compare yourself to other people. Seneca warned us, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more and is poor. Comparison poisons your soul. It breeds jealousy, insecurity, self-contempt. But more than anything, it blinds you to your own path. There's a reason. The Stoics practiced negative visualization. They imagined losing everything, so they could be grateful for what they already had. But comparisons are everywhere today. Social media isn't connected. It's an extreme form of comparison. You see a stranger's best moment and compare it to your worst day. You see filtered success and assume your struggle is failure. But your journey isn't supposed to look like theirs. The Stoics taught us to define success internally, not by fame, not by wealth, but by virtue. When you compare, you borrow someone else's measure of worth, and you wonder why it never fits. Comparison leads to resentment, not just of others, but of yourself, and that resentment creates paralysis. You stop building. You stop growing. You stop trusting your process. Every man has a different mountain to climb. You cannot climb your own mountain if you are focused on someone else's peak. You are not behind. You are not late. You are just distracted from your journey. The Stoics would say, look inward. You are merely diverting your attention from your path. The Stoics would advise, look inward. Redirect your focus to the only individual you are meant to surpass, the person in the mirror. Reflection moment. What would your life resemble if you measured progress solely against the person you were yesterday? Reflection moment. What would your life look like if you only measured progress by the man you were yesterday? Habit 3. You. Let anxiety rule your day. Marcus Aurelius faced wars, betrayal, and plague, yet he wrote, "Today I escaped anxiety." Or no, I discarded it because it was within me, in my perceptions, not outside. Most anxiety isn't real. It's imagined. It's built from future catastrophes that haven't happened yet. It is unlikely to occur in the future. Anxiety is the mind's rehearsal for failure, but Stoicism is the art of mental preparation. You don't overcome anxiety by avoiding fear. You overcome it by confronting what you can control and releasing what you cannot. How often do you wake up and immediately pick up the weight of tomorrow? Could you consider concentrating on excelling today? Most people drown in a storm that never arrives. They worry about the meeting, the judgment, and the outcome, but worry is not action, and stress is not strategy. The Stoics believed in premeditatio malorum, preparing for the worst mentally, not emotionally, so when life strikes, they are ready. Practice the pause. Breathe before you speak. Reflect before you react. The moment belongs to the man who controls his breath. Control your breath. Control your focus. Control your actions. That's Stoicism. That's power. Reflection. Moment. If you dropped every thought you couldn't control, what kind of peace would be left behind? Habit 4. You chase success without purpose. A man chasing success without purpose is like a ship caught in a storm, powerful but lost. Seneca once remarked, "No wind is favorable if a man does not know to which port he is sailing." And yet today, we are constantly told to grind harder, hustle more, and outwork everyone. But for what? For whom? What is the ultimate goal? There's a difference between ambition and alignment. One burns you out. The other lights your way. The Stoics never told us to abandon success, but they taught us to redefine it. Real success is progress toward virtue, toward self-mastery, and toward peace. Chasing money alone leaves you empty. Chasing titles leaves you anxious. Chasing validation? Pursuing titles can turn you into a puppet. Ambition without values is chaos. Purpose provides its shape. Ask yourself, would you still want this goal if no one ever knew you achieved it? Would you still work for it? If it brought you no likes, no applause, no followers? Reflection moment. What are you building quietly that you'd be proud of even if it never went viral? Habit 5. You abandon your identity for approval. Every time you compromise your values for approval, it erodes your soul. You don't lose yourself completely at once. 1,000 small compromises can lead to death. Saying yes when you truly mean no is a mistake. One often finds oneself laughing at situations that lack humor. We assume roles to evade rejection. The Stoics taught, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. But today, many of us pretend to be someone else just to be liked. And the irony? The more masks you wear, the less anyone truly sees you, including yourself. Approval is fleeting. Integrity is eternal. You will be misunderstood. You will be disliked. That's not failure, that's freedom. The world may not reward you for being authentic, but your soul will. Reflection moment. If you stripped away everything you were pretending to be, who's left? Habit 6. You let emotions command your behavior. Emotions are natural, but obedience to them? That's destruction. Stoicism is not about being cold. It's about being composed. It's the ability to feel anger, but choose patience too. Feel fear, but still take the step. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you. Every time you react without discipline, you surrender your power. Every emotional outburst is proof the world still controls you. The Stoic warrior doesn't suppress emotion, he surveys it. He waits, he acts with reason, not impulse. You are the master of your response. And that's where your power lives. Reflection moment. What would change in your life if you paused for 5 seconds before reacting? Habit 7. You abandon discipline when it's challenging. Discipline distinguishes a man who desires discipline from one who embraces it. Anyone can be disciplined when it's easy. The test is when it's cold, when you're tired, when no one's watching. Cleanthes, a Stoic who trained as a boxer and water carrier, sighed, lead me, Zeus and destiny, wherever you have assigned me. I'll follow. That's not weakness. That's surrender to a higher code. Your discipline is your destiny. Every time you show up when it's tough, you're carving a new identity. Every rep, every early morning, every cold shower, it's not punishment. It's proof. Stop breaking the promises you make to yourself. A man who keeps his word in private becomes unstoppable in public. Reflection moment. What would your life look like if you kept every small promise to yourself for the next 90 days? These 7 habits are just bad tendencies. They are silent assassins. They destroy your character, your clarity, and your calling. Let them slide, and the world will treat you like you don't matter. But fight for them, and the world will recognize a man of principle. A Stoic. Discipline your distractions. Silence the comparisons. Calm your mind. Anchor your ambition. Guard your identity. Master your emotions and show up even when it's difficult. That is how you earn respect. Respect does not come from the outside world. You earn respect from the man in the mirror.